Tommy Dunn, no tip player, but they could still make the final and end up with 5 or 6 All-Stars.
Well, that's it. And, you know, Cyril was trying very hard earlier on there to make tip warm favourites next Sunday. So we'd be hoping by the end of the year we'd have some sort of a Tipperary representative. But I suppose it's encouraging from Tip's point of view. David Young came on against Wexford and scored 3 points from right half back. So he might be a guy that's going to have a good remainder of the season.
All right, half-back line is definitely the most competitive line. Dinny, no Antrim fella made it. What do you make of the lad's selection there?
Well, I suppose if you look at Galway won the league and they have won, and I suppose Joe Canning got some great scores in that game. Like, and I felt maybe Joe should be there somewhere.
Okay.
Like he's a great scorer, even though I didn't get the scores against Kilkenny, but the league in particular, he was league final in particular. Okay, good point. Johnny Dooley.
Yeah,
your nephew's in.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's early in the year, but I suppose you know, he had 2 frees to level 2 games, which was you know, there were 2 pressure scores, and he played well from play in general. But probably today maybe wasn't one of his better games from play. But in general, I think, you know, as the season goes, it's a fairly reasonable team.
Okay, John Henderson, only 6 Kilkenny men.
Is that all? Scandal. I think there's only 4 days.
Is it? Whatever.
Oh, whatever. Henry has picked a centre forward, and he's probably only played about 6 minutes there, so I'd be surprised by that. I don't think it really matters. I know it's a bit of fun and that. I think the one that's going to be picked in October is the one that counts.
All right then, that's our hurling team. Then let's look at the football team of the year. And Tony, will I get you to talk us through?
Yeah, I'll start
the
off.
first few.
Well, we're starting off, I suppose, as the lad said, the Kerry team don't consider the championship to start till they get to the quarter or semi-finals. So, look, I'll start off in goal anyway. And we picked in goal number 1, Pascal McConnell. Again today, he was fantastic. He varies his kick-outs and he's a great shot stopper. Number 2, we have Charlie Harrison. Played very well against Mayo and Galway. Yeah. Number 3, Justin McMahon, man of the match today. Very, very good player. And number 4, which is the most controversial one, I would think, is Joe McMahon. Because Joe McMahon plays back there. We were discussing this a while ago, and he's probably a 4.5 rather than 4 because he plays right inside the half-back line. Number 5, Tomas O'Shea, fantastic in the Clarny and the drawing game, and got 2 points against Limerick, top player. Number 6, Michael Shields, did very well against Declan Sullivan. Number 7, Philip Jordan, again, good player, played very well again today for them. Number 8, John Galvin, big game against Kerry, very underrated player, and will certainly cause Cork huge difficulty in the next round. Okay, and we're looking at the rest of the selection there. Dara, what were the difficult ones in attack and midfield?
Well, I suppose you're leaving out Declan O'Sullivan in attack at midfield. You're leaving out the likes of Dick Clark, and didn't do too badly today against a very good Tyrone team. Looking at it there, we have Paddy Keenan at number 9. He's been one of the outstanding midfielders without a shadow of a doubt of the championship to date. Paul Galvin's in there despite limited showtime, but it's about quality rather than quantity. And you know, when he was on the field, he was absolutely outstanding this year. Patrick Joyce, I think, vintage displays right through, probably at full forward, but we're accommodating that at centre forward. Joe Sheridan has been a leading light for Meath, even though Seamus Kenny would be unfortunate at this stage. I think if you ask any Meath person, they consider Seamus Kenny's value to the team a bit higher. Colm Cooper is right back in the groove again this year. Great showing from Colm. Bernard Brogan, not just based on last night's display, but it was really franked by last night's display. He's the outstanding full forward so far, and even despite a very quiet showing today by David Kelly, he was probably the outstanding forward of the championship up to now. Okay, then let's get some reaction. Vincent Hogan, any omissions there in the football?
Well, the first thing that strikes me, Des, is, you know, halfway house here, you were talking about the hurling, and we may well be just addressing the small print in a diary of 5 in a row.
But is that right, though? You know, that it all depends on 2 games?
Well, it's maybe not right, but it is the reality. And you talk about the big 3 in football, and almost certainly the All-Star team will be dominated by the big 3. Looking at Kavanagh today for Tyrone, looking ominous, coming into form, the same with Dooher. One guy I'd like to have seen on that team is JP Rooney of Meath. I think he's been fantastic. Of Louth. Yeah. He's been fantastic for them so far. All right, then.
Collie Moran?
Yeah, as Vincent says, ultimately the All-Stars probably will be dominated by the big 3 in the end of the season.
And is that right?
No, it's not, and that's why it's great to see this team halfway through the year and you see the beaten provincial finalists, John Galvin and Paddy Keenan, who have both been excellent, from Limerick and Louth featuring in the team. But two others I think that would have a strong claim would be Meads wing forward Riley, who's clocked up some serious scores in all the matches, and Costello as well from Sligo, who's very good against Mayo and kicked 5 scores today.
I think Graham Riley was knocking on the door big time, all right, when the selection was going on. Liam McHale, the midfielders chosen, John Galvin and Paddy Keenan. As Collie says, not from the traditional counties.
Two good players. It's a good team. Michael Darren McCauley from Dublin is probably the best midfielder in my view this year. His work rate is phenomenal. He got 5 steals, 6 steals yesterday. He never stops. He links the play well. He's not the most stylish footballer in the world, Des, but he's a fine player. And the lads must have picked the team before the Connacht final today. Where's Tony Shine on this team? He has to be there before David Kelly. Even though David Kelly is a fine footballer, has had a great year this year. Right. Tony Shine was exceptional today and has been exceptional throughout. Well,
we'll watch out in September where that goes. Oisín, any names you'd like to see included?
I would agree, maybe Barry or Nine.
Barry or Nine?
Well, I think just watching Kildare yesterday, I thought Johnny Doyle was exceptional. I thought his work rate and everything he does, he's a leader. You know, he seems to be their main man this year. I suppose himself and maybe Damien Freeman from Monaghan and maybe Paul Finlay, who I know he wasn't good today, but he has been good up to now. So I mean,
these are the debating points. Dara O'Shea. Many
disappointed Mark isn't on the team.
Mark is
no, to be fair, it's like the lads said. It's like when teams get to Croke Park, we'll say from here on into the championship, there's an edge to it, and players realise that as well, because it's last chance saloon, and it brings more of an edge to the game. So like from the provincial championships, there is a comfort zone where the fellas like to admit it or not. But that team is the only fella that I can see that probably played very well in all the games that I saw was Kieran Sheehan from Cork. I thought he was exceptional, and he was again the last day. Again, I think he's been one of the finds of the championship. I saw him under 21 last year against Dublin in Thurles, and he was exceptional that day as well. I think he's one of the most talented players in the country at the minute.
Okay, Tony Lean.
Yeah, actually, Declan Sullivan and Kieran Sheehan were two names I was looking at as well. I think as well there's a message there in the team as well for Limerick. I mean, you know, you were talking earlier about the 1, 2, 3 in the country. Like, I would give Limerick a big shout at being 4. The problem is that they need more guys to step up. They can't be relying on John Galvin. And apparently they have decided, Dara was talking about their Munster focus earlier. There's a huge effort apparently this year. They're one game from Croke Park. Now, obviously, they haven't got a very good draw tonight. But if they get 2 or 3 more guys to step up, they will cause Cork some serious problems next week.
Right. Graham Geraghty?
I'd agree with him mostly in part. I'm glad to see John Galvin in midfield, and Paddy Keenan, I think, is probably the most outstanding footballer at the moment this year. Disappointed that Graham Riley's not on the half-hour line. I think he scored 113 from play this year so far, and he's been a huge influence in the Meath team this year as well. And probably Donny Shine, I think, deserves the spot there after today's performance as well.
Okay, and Colin Kelly?
Yeah, I suppose looking at it, you agree with most aspects of the team, but the half-forward line, I thought, you know, probably Paul Galvin, a standing footballer, but probably hasn't had enough game time. Declan Sullivan for me, and probably Graham Riley for their scoring ability, probably would be better suited to 10 and 12 rather than Joe Sheridan, who probably plays most of his football down through the middle. But other than that, it's a pretty strong team.
All right then. We're going to finish then by asking our panellists in one word to tell us who'll win the All-Ireland. So in one word, no ifs, buts, maybes. Tommy Dunn, who'll win the All-Ireland? Tip. Diarmuid O'Sullivan? Kilkenny. Fergal Hartley?
Kilkenny.
Johnny Dooley?
Kilkenny.
Dinny Cahill?
Kilkenny.
John Henderson?
Kilkenny.
Vincent Hogan?
Kilkenny.
All right. 7-1, is it? 6-1 for Kilkenny against Tip. And the panel, Cyril?
Can't look past Kilkenny, really.
Dynamite.
Hurling or football?
Hurling.
Kilkenny and Kerry.
Kilkenny and Kerry, all right then. Our football predictions. Collie Moran. Kerry. Liam McHale.
Kerry.
Oisín McConville.
Cork.
Dara O'Shea.
Kerry.
Colin Kelly.
Kerry.
Graham Geraghty.
Cork.
Tony Lean.
Cork.
Tony Davis.
Kerry.
Dara Ó Cinnéide.
Cork. I've been consistent.
You've been consistent. All right. Well, this debate will not end, I think. That's about it from another hectic Sunday game. Sincere thanks to all of our special guests. It was great to have you here and you added a lot to the programme. Thank you very much. I have a feeling the debate might continue. We'll be back here at the same time next week. So from myself and the rest of the Sunday game team, have a good week. And we want to wish a special good week to our chief sub-editor here in the programme, Rory O'Neill, who's getting married to Emma on Friday. She's a patient woman, there's no doubt about that. We hope you have a really good week. So we'll see you next Sunday. Until then, bye-bye.